Hello, leader. Have you ever tasked your team to travel, or have you traveled with them? It's an eye-opener for sure. After all, some people are great travelers and super easy to navigate an airport, freeway construction, or roundabouts with. Others are not. But one thing is for certain, you really find out a lot about a person when you travel with them. Sometimes you discover something delightful. Other times, you wish you'd never seen or heard what just went down. Either way, working relationships can be impacted. Let's talk about it. And heads up, some of the stories that I'll be sharing may be uncomfortable for you to hear. Welcome to the Stacking Your Team podcast. If you are a woman who owns a small business and you'd like to learn how to lead your team so they don't need you to hold their hand, you are in the right place. I'm your host, Shelli Warren. I've led winning teams in retail, innovative technical teams at a Fortune 50 corporation, and coached many remote teams to win at work. And in case you're wondering, no one escapes team troubles, including me. You already know that the people side of running your business can be tough. I'm here to help. So let's jump into today's episode with a little reminder that the team that got you here may not be the team that will get you there. Hey, have you been catching the episodes that feature some of my clients? I hope so. They are all incredible, and we appreciate how open they are to sharing their insight with us. The good stuff, the not so good stuff, and the stuff they're working on, either as a one-to-one client or in the leadership lab. There are more clients coming up, so be sure to hit subscribe and never miss an episode. And P.S., this is my nudge for you to engage with my clients online. Tell them what you thought about their episode. I mean, jeepers, you can imagine what it takes to go behind the microphone when you normally are all in on your earbuds. It's not in their comfort zone, so please show them some encouragement. And if you missed some of those more recent client-featured episodes, just sit back in your podcast app a bit. Thanks. Okay, let's talk about our team travel. I'm sure you're seeing more and more opportunities are opening up for people to attend gatherings, trainings, and conferences, or visiting clients and vendors. All of that takes travel. Sometimes you'll join your team. Other times you won't. So let's talk about travel in 3 parts. First, we'll talk about how travel can provide some great experiences for your team and actually make their working relationships stronger. Secondly, I'll share some awful experiences that can happen when teams travel. And then third, we'll chat about what you can do before they set off to ensure their travel experiences enhance their working relationships instead of tearing them down. Okay, first up, let's think about how team travel can truly bind people together and offer a chance to watch peers rise to the challenge and shine. You know, some of my warmest memories are times when I traveled with a few of my team members for a specific project throughout a year in various cities in the U.S. The 3 of us became tight and leaned on each other's skills and expertise, often to make sure that the outcome for each trip was achieved. One of our trips we laughingly referred to as trains, planes, and automobiles, just like the movie, because we literally needed all forms of transportation to get home due to a significant winter storm the week before Christmas. That was a very long 24 hours, and our trust in each other, our optimism, and our ability to laugh at the situation kept us all sane and in pretty good humor while other travelers were having visible meltdowns around us. Now, it's true, the more you travel with the same people, the more in tune you become to each other's preferences for everything from food to music to storytelling to joke telling to problem solving to how people like to wind down. You might not agree with or appreciate everyone's quirks, but you can anticipate and prepare for it all the next time. It's the familiarity with each other that adds the value here. And let's not forget this. Watching people in action and seeing others delighted with their skills and expertise can also be very energizing. I've had some of my proudest moments as a leader watching my team members so comfortably share their expertise. I never get tired of seeing people you work with knock people's socks off, just like you'd hope they would. Okay, let's think about how team travel can pull apart working relationships. Because let's get real, this happens more often than you think. We just don't talk about it. Like when people don't pull their weight, don't roll up their sleeves, or they lack any sense of urgency, or they're not prepared to get the job done. It can be frustrating when they resist working any extended hours needed to get the job done, or worst yet, they lack professionalism and decorum, and people, aka your clients, customers, or colleagues, are noticing it. Yikes! Now, you know that travel challenges, clients and customer challenges, personal preference challenges, and the challenge of being away from what's familiar, coupled with the need to focus on delivering the intended outcome of why you came together in the first place, can all add up. Time zone changes, sleep issues, weather, energy levels, and normal everyday stress can affect people's moods and their performance. I often joke about the fact that, I could write a book full of the stories about the horrific travel experiences that I've had over the years moving about with people I work with. I've been shocked to see so-called leaders or business owners treat people who work in the hospitality industry so terribly. I've had to quietly circle around and tip people in an attempt to apologize for these people because we're going to be staying at that hotel for a while and I don't want this to have any spillover effect. I'm so sorry can be a common plea, and not just because I'm Canadian, when I'm traveling with someone who is demanding and feels entitled. Back in corporate, I had some awful experiences like banging on someone's door or having the hotel manager use their passkey to get them up for work because the person tied one on the night before. These moments are incredibly damaging to working relationships because they are embarrassed, you are disappointed, and the tension can hang around for the remainder of the trip and even when you return back home. Now, accompanying someone to the ER to get patched up after a brawl in a bar can be necessary and lead to discipline back on the job. I once sent a team member home after this situation because it was just too distracting for the rest of us, and I wanted to send a clear message to everyone that this behavior is unacceptable. Or how about having someone lose their passport and laptop in a foreign country and then coaching them from home on how to navigate this? Well, it just can't help but have some residual effects on your relationship with them. I always keep a digital scanned copy of my passport in a secure place while I travel at home, and I request and then check in on the same for every team member too. And then there's the extramarital affairs that can happen discreetly or not so discreetly, and the onus lands on the travel companions to deal with that drama. Oh, what a distraction. And how could I forget that call from a team member freaking out because one of their peers had gone rogue and was missing for 2 days? Japers. That was a doozy of a problem to solve from afar. And suffice to say, gambling addiction was prevalent, and that person lost not only their company Amex card and their job, but their family too. These real-life experiences can sound extreme or like a scene from a movie, but stuff happens when people are away from home. Now, you might be thinking that these travelers must have been young and inexperienced. Not so. I've seen very experienced travelers, long-standing so-called leaders and business owners, behave very badly while they're out of town on company business. Jeepers, I've seen it all. Well, at least I think I have. And I'm not even telling you about the even more deplorable and highly regrettable situations that have happened while traveling with work teams, or situations where other leaders frantically called me to walk them through what to do in their moment. But I got wise. I started getting super clear on who I would travel with, who I would or would not share a room with, or be seated beside on a plane, and also got super clear on including travel experience as part of a role posting. Yeah, when I was looking to promote someone into a new role and bring them onto a project that required travel, I made it important to discern whether this person could and would travel, and could they be trusted with company funds to travel. Now, some of my clients have had issues with both of these. People agreed to travel for their role and then pushed back hard every time it was necessary. Other team members failed to treat company credit cards appropriately, overspending, or purchasing items that would simply not meet the requirements of an approved business expense. This is serious stuff. After all, your brand's reputation, the safety of coworkers, and the ability to stay focused on the task at hand all factor in whether or not someone is fit for travel and the responsibility that comes with it. So having clear travel policies is an absolute must. I also encourage you to set an expectation that your team reviews these policies annually. And more specifically, it would be a fundamental expectation for any new traveler to review those policies. So clearly outlining what is acceptable, what is not, including spending, hours of work, preferred hotels and other forms of travel, recommended security measures, and border crossing procedures can be incredibly helpful and eliminate anyone from being unaware of your expectations and then getting into a mess, including messing up their working relationships. It can also be very helpful to have a clear understanding of who is in charge when traveling as a group, meaning who will guide the team through problem solving, any big challenges, important decisions, and who has the overall responsibility for everyone in the travel group. Now, you might think this is overkill. After all, these are adults who are traveling, right? That's true. But not everyone is great at problem solving and rising to the challenge during highly stressful times. It helps to single out a seasoned person to be the leader who knows the role they will play when things go sideways. We want our teams to travel well together and experience the fun and camaraderie these opportunities can provide. We want our teams to learn how to lean on each other and be reminded about the value each of them brings to their role. We also want our teams to respect each other, treat each other with dignity, and learn from each other while they're away on company business. We want these experiences for our teams who travel, and we want to experience this with them when we go along. Yet things can go wrong really quickly when we don't have a process to set expectations and hold people accountable when traveling is part of their role and part of what they're getting paid to do. When people or results go off the rails, it can definitely be overwhelming cleaning up the damage and repairing relationships. But you don't have to go through lessons like these alone. It helps to be surrounded by other people who have lived through the same situations and have come out on the other side with a totally different perspective and a plan to reduce or eliminate these kinds of drawbacks. Joining the Leadership Lab could be your very next best step to finally being surrounded by women similar to you who are also learning about themselves, changing, growing, and learning how to lead so your team turnover settles down. People know exactly what they're being paid to do, and the results that you've been wanting your team to deliver actually happens. The Leadership Lab is welcoming new members right now. It's my transformational small group coaching program designed to accelerate your effectiveness to lead your team really well while removing yourself from the day-to-day operations. Become a client. Get the help you need and watch the improvements happen within your team that will spill over across your whole business. And then join us at our next client gathering in Ottawa, Ontario on October 2nd and 3rd. By the way, I have a few spots open for one-to-one clients if you'd rather get my brain on your business that way. If you enjoyed the podcast, you'll be thrilled about the level of support you get and that your team gets too when you become a client. I'm here to help you. Apply today directly from the website or the link in the show notes. You know, leadership can be exciting, challenging, and lonely at times. So don't go it alone. Let me help you create the team and the leadership structure that you've been craving. So until next time, remember, if you have a dream, you need a team. So let's get stacking yours today.